Hey! Hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. Look at them graphics, yo! Look at them visuals! 1080p, 60 frames per second, all the settings and textures on Ultra. The game looks almost like it's real life, man! Yeah, that's really cool, that's really nice looking. I'm not going to deny that, but what's the point? Does it really matter? I mean, all that money, all that effort, all that time, and in the end, do these photorealistic graphics really help the game in the end? Well, I'm making this commentary to talk about it, so let's talk about it. Are photorealistic video game graphics really necessary? Well, let's look at the positives. One, no duh, the games look gorgeous. Games like Crysis, The Order 1886, Battlefield 4, Watch Dogs, the newly released Witcher Free: The Wild Hunt. I mean, these games look absolutely visually stunning, with all their graphic settings set to max. It's a great way to test your hardware, especially on PC, test the limits and capabilities of what video game graphics can and could be, and like I just said, really test if your graphics card is up to par. And finally, also, no duh, you get to look at incredible visuals while you play a game. That's all good. That's all awesome. I have no problem with that. But I really have to ask, is striving for photorealistic graphics really a good thing, an upside, an improvement for the video game and video games in general? I mean, now let's look at the negatives. First off, when making a game so graphically intense as previous games that I mentioned, a lot of time and a lot of resources need to be dedicated solely to the visuals. Now, for any game, that's true. There's a lot of time and effort put into the graphical fidelity of video games, no duh. But when so much time is taken specifically to make the game just look good, not run well, not be stable, just look good, have extremely detailed lighting and textures, all that stuff, then crap slips through the cracks. We're talking bugs, glitches, overly long loading times, certain areas of the game that weren't coded properly. And this shit happened in games like Crysis, Battlefield 3 and 4. Everybody remember Assassin's Creed Unity? Same thing with Watch Dogs. Very good looking games had a slew of issues. Even the recently released Witcher Free, while looking gorgeous, is littered with bugs, glitches, and game-breaking issues. The game looks good, no doubt about it, but those photorealistic graphics that were meant to immerse players in the game kind of are pointless if you have characters phasing in and out, walking through objects, or other characters, falling through the world. Oh, and let's not forget game crashes. Next negative. Now this is specifically for PC. The problem with constantly upscaling your graphics, making them photorealistic, adding so much detail and texture, making them so powerful and complex, that the only way to play them is on the latest and greatest graphics cards. Brand new game comes out, doesn't matter if you want to play it on the lowest settings, graphics wise, you need to buy a new graphics card for hundreds of dollars to play a game you already bought or want to buy. Now, there's nothing necessarily wrong with getting a new graphics card. New graphics cards comes with new features, new options, and ways to improve your PC, no duh. And I can understand game devs wanting to use the latest and greatest tech and see how they can use it to improve their game. But when you make your game so graphically intensive, someone who may want to play your game but doesn't have powerful enough specs may need to pay hundreds, if not over $1,000 just to get the necessary parts to even play your game on the low settings. And for all you know, a potential customer may just give up because they don't want to spend that much money just to play a game. I mean, for goodness sakes, we have the graphics engines. We have the capabilities to already make beautiful looking games. I understand wanting to push the boundaries and go further, but then you start to lose sight of what makes a video game, the gameplay, the story, the stability and availability of your game. I mean, for goodness sakes, Crysis, the original Crysis, came out in 2007. And that game, to this very day, is one of the best looking games ever made. And it can run on multiple systems, multiple specs, multiple graphics cards. While many games nowadays on the PC, many AAA video games I should say, most AAA video games, not just including shooters, are just about impossible to run on a few-year-old systems. Want to run them at the highest specs? Best frame rate, all that stuff, you gotta get the latest and greatest tech that's worth hundreds, if not over $1,000. Original Crysis, almost a decade-old game, still gorgeous, and can run on multiple systems. Game devs everywhere have the capability to make their video games look beautiful. They don't need to be photorealistic, they just need to look good. They have to have a good art style and flavor and just enough detail into the textures that they don't look muddy. Game devs have the ability to make their games beautiful and run on a variety of systems. But because they keep pushing and pushing and pushing the graphics, the only way to play the latest games is with the latest hardware. Sure, on PC you can get deals, cheap deals on games, and cheap deals on the hardware, but still, there's little to no chance that you're not going to have to pay hundreds of dollars. And some people, PC gamers I mean, don't have the patience, the time, or even the money to get the latest hardware to play this latest games. So, in any case, you're losing customers. Now again, I have absolutely nothing wrong with a game trying to look its best, trying to be good looking. But don't sacrifice availability and stability just to make your game look good. Now there's some positives and there's some negatives, but there's one last thing I want to bring up. Proof that photorealistic graphics don't need to be the future of games. Games can look good right now, the state that they're in. They don't need to push the boundaries of how realistic a game could look in order to be successful. Just make a good video game. Sure, visuals are a part of any good game, but they don't need to be photorealistic. Proof? Minecraft. Five Nights at Freddy's. As much as I hate to mention it, World of Warcraft. That game is years old, and a few generations behind in terms of visuals, millions still play it. League of Legends? Dota? The MOBAs? They're not all too graphically intensive, look how many millions play them. Now again, I sound like a broken record saying this, but I have nothing against a game wanting to look good. But you have the capabilities to make your games look good and be stable and run on older systems as well as the latest ones. You have the power, you have the capability. And some of the most popular games in the world go to show you that you don't need to make your game look photorealistic to be successful. Just make a good game. I mean, games like Titanfall, Evolve, Dragon Age Inquisition, Wolfenstein The New Order, and its recently released The Old Blood. I love these games, I love those games, I adore them, I adore their visuals and gameplay, but they don't nearly need to be as graphically intensive as they are. They don't need to be such system hogs and hardware melting games as they are. Sure, in the end, when you have all the necessary hardware and software to play them on max settings, they'll look absolutely freaking gorgeous. But that doesn't necessarily improve the game. Allow me to use an analogy. Now, I'm horrible with analogies, and if I offend anyone with this analogy, I apologize in advance. But, in my personal opinion, video game developers and the graphics of their games nowadays are kind of like supermodels who think they need the most makeup and work done on them in order to look beautiful. And while sure, all that makeup and clothing and hairdo, all this work to make yourself look as pretty as possible, in the end you may look pretty, but it's who you are as a person that matters most. What's beautiful, what's pretty, what's trendy is fleeting and may not be remembered for that long a time. But who you are as a person, on the inside, your inner beauty, is what will make people adore you and remember you till the end of time. I hope that analogy wasn't too far off from talking about video game graphics. Anyways, this has been a video, this has been my opinion, this has been a commentary. What do you guys think? Do you agree with what I had to say? Do you disagree? Did you like the video? Did you like what I had to say? Did you like the gameplay? If you liked the video in any way, shape, or form, please hit the like button. Hitting the like button helps me, helps you, helps everybody involved with the video if you hit the like button. please leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feelings on video game graphics and how photorealistic they're getting and everything I talked about in this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts, feelings, and opinions in the comment section below. I love getting comments. I don't get nearly enough comments. Please leave a comment. And finally, I am the Gamertron. I love video games, and I love talking about video games, and if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to my channel and supporting me. This has been a video, and I will see you guys later.